guys, I'm Ileana, and I'm making this video to kind of show slash tell exactly how bad bullying is. For those of you who don't really know me, a little bit about me is that I've been bullied for the past 3 years. I've moved 3 different high schools, and my first high school, I was only out there for about 2 to 3 months because it got so bad that girls were throwing stuff at me and accusing me of sleeping with their boyfriends and pretty much stuff I've never really done, or never done, period. And then I stopped going to school. I would study at home, and I was kind of a bookworm, so I'd always read my books from school and kind of just teach myself that way. And then I got put into foster care in February of last year, and I started a different high school. And I'm not saying any names, just due to the sake of these high schools. But I started there, and it was alright. I mean, I was still getting like the harassment and everything, but it wasn't as bad as it was at my previous school, so I was like, I can deal with this. And then I realized I couldn't, but it was so close to the end of the year that I was just like, ignore everybody and don't talk to anybody, maybe you'll be okay. And I was, and then I started again this year. It didn't work. I would walk into school, and people I didn't even know would look at me, and it's not like one of those looks where, okay, just a casual look. It was one of those looks like, why are you here? Like, you're kind of gross. I've heard what people say about you. I've heard about you. I'm just like, just keep walking, and I'd go to class, and I'd sit by myself. When most of my classes, we could just sit wherever we want, and I don't think I looked forward to any of my classes except for choir and French. That's only because French, we had the most funniest conversations, and it didn't matter if you liked people in that class or not, you still got along with them regardless. And in choir, everybody got along with everybody. It was really fun, and we would always make really funny jokes. And my choir teacher always picked on me, but I loved it. I don't know why. I just loved being picked on by my choir teacher, because it was like, I guess, that feeling of actually being noticed. And then in February, I think it was 26th or something, I'm not saying who this was, but this girl, pardon my language for any bad language I'm about to say, she came up to me, and she walked past me and called me a skank, and I was like, okay then. And then she pushed me, so I slapped her. And at first I was like, it was like one of those moments like, what did I just do? And then now looking back at it, like, yes, I regret it, but at the same time, it's just like, being called so many names and being accused of so much stuff has just kind of built onto me that it was like that one slap just kind of relieved it all. No, but it wasn't right. Don't take that as I thought it was right. It's like, it was kind of a self-defense type thing, because I honestly felt threatened because she was pushing me and then pulling on my backpack, and I didn't like that, so I slapped her. But then I moved schools again. This is my 3rd high school that I'm at right now. Don't get me wrong, I've had girls come up to me and call me names. As a matter of fact, there was a rumor going around, like the first day I was here, that I was doing stuff with a guy. My first day here. So, it makes a lot of sense. And after this 3 years that it's been going on, I have a self-esteem issue sometimes. Like, some days I feel really good about myself, and I'm like, you can't tell me I'm ugly, because I know I'm not. But then there's those other days where I walk into school and I see like some girl wearing a lot of makeup or has her hair curled a certain way, and I can't do that, and I'm just like, self-esteem just kind of went down. But it doesn't just affect the person, like, emotionally, I guess. Like, it affects them in every single way possible. Like, they don't just feel bad about themselves, but they hate themselves. And I hated myself for a really long time. There were some days, and there's some days where I'm having a bad day. Like, it's not like suicidal, but it's like, just what would happen if I wasn't here? Like, would I be happier if I wasn't here? And I'm happy I'm still here. It's just those thoughts come through my mind every once in a while, because I'll get that occasional message or something that says you suck, or nobody likes you, or keep your legs closed, and I'm just like, and it's not even the fact that it's people saying that to me, it's the fact that it's people I don't even know that are confronting me, not to my face, but online. And I have probably at least 100 to 200 messages and pieces of paper that I have printed out because of people saying stuff to me. And I've gone into the principal's office, and what I get told is that it's my fault and I'm the one instigating the issue. Yet none of the time I really am. And it kind of hurts, because it's like, if you're in my shoes, you feel like nobody's really on your side and nobody really has your back. And then you have those occasional friends that know the true story and stick up for you, but they don't believe you're friends because they're your friends and they're supposed to stick up for you. I'm like, and I bring in proof all the time that these people are bullying me and harassing me, but these 2 high schools that I've been to, they don't do anything about it because there's bigger issues to deal with. Because me being threatened, and the last week I was even at my last high school, I was being threatened to get pushed in front of a bus and sent to a hospital. But that's not a big enough of an issue. Somebody holding a pipe or somebody wearing an inappropriate shirt is a bigger issue than a girl who has already gone through enough getting harassed and bullied in class and getting yelled at in class. Not even by just people, but at my first high school I was being kind of talked down to by my own teachers. And it's not very fun for me. It's not very fun for anybody else that's talking to me, because they know that I have really bad trust issues. And the one thing I don't like about it is I have really high standards for friends anymore. Like, I do not tell you any of my personal information unless we've been talking for more than a year, because it kind of sucks when I tell somebody something and then they go and blurt it out to everybody else. I'm like, I told you that because I trusted you, and it's like, after you're being bullied, you don't trust anybody. And it really hurts, because you feel like you have no friends. You don't really feel like anything. So, that's a little bit about me. Now, I'm going to tell you some bullying statistics, and these ones I'm about to read to you are nationwide. So this is all across the U.S. This is only the U.S. Alright, 1 out of 4 teens are bullied daily. Over 160,000 students, this is late years in middle school, like 7th, 8th grade, and high school, stay home because they are afraid of being bullied. Every 7 minutes, a child is being bullied. 85% of the time, nobody intervenes. 4% of the time, an adult intervenes. 11% of the time, a peer intervenes. 43% fear bathroom harassment at school. If you just listen to that, that's not just saying they fear the bathroom harassment itself. They are pretty much scared to go into the bathroom because they know that a kid will probably be in there that they don't like and follow them into the bathroom just to yell at them. And I've had that happen to me more than one time. Alright, I have gone to the bathroom and girls have followed me in there just to yell at me. 1 out of 3 students said they heard another student threaten to kill someone. 1 out of 5 kids admit to being a bully or to do some sort of bullying, like calling names, from the smallest amount of bullying to the most extreme. 80% of the time, arguments with bullies end in a physical fight. So that's not just name calling and yelling. It's if you fight back, you will most likely get into a fight. 282,000 students are attacked physically in secondary schools each month. So that's like all of the students in a couple of schools in Colorado Springs. So that's quite a few people in Colorado Springs that are getting physically attacked each month. That's not just a few students each year. That is a few students each month. That is more than a few students that it gets attacked each month. And that's quite a bit. A poll of teens ages 12 to 17 proved they think violence increased at their schools once they got into high school. So that's not just middle school now, that is high school that kids are feeling threatened at school. Most school violence happens on school grounds, which is just idiotic if you ask me, because if you're going to do something, you wouldn't want to do it in front of there's security cameras, there's security guards half the time, there's adults around. I mean, I'm not saying do it out of school grounds, I'm saying don't do it, period. 43% get bullied online. 1 in 4 has had it happen to them more than once. 47% of older youth 18 to 24 are cyberbullied. So that's not just teens now, that is 47% of people that were tallied between the ages of 18 to 24 that are getting cyberbullied. So that's kind of cowardly if you ask me. In my opinion, that is very cowardly, because you are not doing it to their face. You are not expressing your opinion to their face, but you are expressing it online because you feel like you have a higher power. Because if you post it on a status and you tag them in it, you know your friends are going to back you up. And that's really cowardly. Like, if you have a problem with somebody, tell an adult and have that adult sit with you and situate and fix this situation with them. 35% have been threatened online, 1 in 5 more than once. Now, these are teenagers. 21% have received mean or threatening texts and emails. 58% admit someone has said mean and hurtful things. More than 4 out of 10 said it's happened more than once. 53% admit to saying things, 1 in 3 more than once. Only 58% has spoken up about themselves being bullied. So that's a little bit more than half, but that's still not many. 30% of U.S. students in grades 6 through 10 are involved in moderate and frequent bullying as bullies, victims, or both. School bullying and cyberbullying are viewed as huge contributors to youth violence, such as homicide and suicide. So that's not just killing yourself, but you're also killing other people if you're getting bullied. 77% are bullied mentally, verbally, and physically. Of the 77%, 14% said they experienced severe abuse. So like physical attacking, threatening, not just threatening, but getting jumped and somebody fighting you. 100,000 kids, teenagers, carry a gun to school for protection or to do harm against others. So some of them are protecting themselves because they feel threatened at school, but then the others are doing it because they want to harm somebody else at their school that is hurting them. 28% who carry guns at school see violence at home. So that speaks a lot, not only at, sometimes bullying doesn't only happen when somebody's bullying you, but it's what your parents do too that can affect you. So that's also a huge thing for parents, is don't show your kids that violence is the only solution to answers. And I know that that's kind of like people would disagree with me, like people in gangs or whatever, but you're not helping your kid if you're carrying around a gun and shooting other people, because they're going to think that that's okay when they go to school. Teenagers say that the best revenge for bullying is school shootings, or the most common revenge from bullying is school shootings. So like Columbine, or any other school shootings you can think of. And what's the most recent one at the elementary school? Sandy Hook, or I think that's the name of it. The guy, he was sending letters to the board, or whoever it was, and they were making fun of him because of it. And you may not think that that's bullying, but that is, because they're making fun of himself, and they're making him feel bad about himself. 87% of shootings are motivated by a desire to get back at those who hurt them. So that's 87% of all shootings that happen are because they want to get back. It's revenge. They want to get back at somebody who had hurt them. 86% say bullying causes teens to turn to lethal violence. 61% said that students shoot others because they have been victims of physical abuse at home. So that I've been physically abused at home, and that relates to me too, because I have been really rude to people myself. So if you grow up around a violent person, you are most likely to become violent because that mental image of violence is just stuck in your head. You think that's the only way to get your way, and it's not. 54% agreed witnessing physical abuse at home can lead to school violence. Most statistics show that schools aren't safe according to most students. Alright, here's a big one. 4,400 deaths occur each year due to kids being bullied. So out of all the kids that you know, if you know 100 kids, they can all kill themselves because they're being bullied. If for all you popular Facebookers out there, if you have 5,000 friends, 4,400 of those kids are going to kill themselves because they're being bullied, or are most likely to kill themselves because they're being bullied. Or they're not even being bullied at school, but also being bullied at home from their parents or their siblings. It's not just bullying at school, it is also bullying in your own home that can affect you anywhere you go. It can also kill your self-esteem whenever you go somewhere. For every suicide, so that's one suicide, there's 100 suicide attempts. So if you kill yourself, there are 100 other kids out there that are also trying to commit suicide because they are also hurting too. 14% of these kids that were in this poll considered suicide more than once, and 7% have actually attempted suicide. Bully victims are between 2 to 9 times more likely to commit suicide. Now these are some facts, or statistics facts pretty much, in Colorado State. There was a news report that a couple teenagers had killed themselves because they were being bullied. But not only were they being bullied physically or whatever, their memorial pages were being bullied and harassed. People were being charged with tickets because they were slandering these kids' pages. So imagine your best friend, who is now deceased, look on their memorial page or even their Facebook page, and you're seeing these nasty comments. And that's coming from other kids that probably don't even know this kid or just don't like this kid. They're not saying sorry for them. They're not sticking up for them. They are slandering their pages and telling them that they're a horrible person. And they can't even fend for themselves, which is even worse. In Colorado, 1 in 5 high school students report being bullied. The House Bill 1254 states that there is a safe space for all children. And right now, from my personal experience, and I know many other kids with this experience, it's not very safe in certain areas. House Bill 1254 also updates the state's definition of bullying to include cyberbullying and specific prohibitions against bullying based on student characteristics. These student characteristics, the next section also says that it prevents kids from being bullied by their characteristics such as national origin, religion, ancestry, need for special education services, disability, race, creed, color, sex, and sexual orientation. Now, at my school, I know this for a fact, that there are many, not exactly racist kids, but they do, I will give you an example, but sorry for my language. I come to school every day, and there's white kids calling black kids niggas, or crackers or whatever. And then you also have the Mexicans using the same words too. And then if you look at the kids in my school, they always clump up together, and there's always like the nerdy kids that like to actually get their work done, and then you have all the potheads who don't get anything done half the time. Anyways, I'm not judging them, all of them. And then you have like the Mexicans that always hang out with themselves, and at my school they're obsessed with cars. And then you have all the black kids that just have the funniest conversations. They're funny people and they're not bad, but you just see these different cliques. And this is not just in my high school, but this is in other high schools too. You will see these different cliques, and they're insulting each other. They think it's funny. Like, I see girls calling each other bitches, and they think it's funny. But when it comes to an insulting manner, when you know that the girl's mad at you, it's not funny anymore. Well, it shouldn't be funny in the first place because you're insulting them, and there's no reason that you should even be calling them a name. Like, call them by their name. Don't call them by a name that is an insulting name to them. Alright, here's a big one that I found out, and I'm pretty happy I found out. The federal government and Hickenlooper, I think his name is, the federal government says that schools that do not protect students from bullying are not just at risk of violating the bullying laws in their states, but they also may be committing a civil rights violation. So, if a student is being bullied because of their color or their gender, or if they are gay or whatever, if they don't believe in religion, it's a civil rights issue. Because if you are judging them based on their color or based on the fact that they're a woman, like the saying, women belong in the kitchen, or women only deserve to clean up after the men, that's a civil rights issue, because all humans should be treated equal. It's written in our Constitution that people need to have equal rights, and when you are bullying somebody else based on their color, based on whether they're a man or a woman, or if they're transgender, if they have disabilities, or if they have special needs that they have to have, you are treating them no higher than you are treating yourself. Like, if you want to treat them like they are nothing and that they are a dog or an animal, then that's the way you should be treated. Because you have no right to judge them just on what stuff that they can't control, because they can't control that they're black. They can't control if they're Mexican, or their ethnicity. They can't control where they come from. They can't control that they can't see, or that they're blind, or they're deaf. You have no right to make fun of them just because of stuff they can't control. And 87% of LGBT students in Colorado reported being bullied based on their sexual orientation, and 30% were physically attacked. So, for an example, Harrison. I'm not saying that I've been there and experienced this, but from what I've heard is that it's nothing but gangbangers in training or whatever. And that these kids are being judged based on their color or how cool they are. And you can't judge somebody based on how they act or how they present themselves. I mean, yeah, you can have your own opinion, but it's not right to just sit there and make them feel like they are nothing. It's not right to sit there and threaten them and tell them that if they don't disappear, that you're going to make them disappear for them. It's not right for any of that to even happen. And over the past few years, bullying has been big since time pretty much began, but it's just, the more you know about it, the more you want to stop it, because if you see your friend being bullied and harassed, it's not a very good feeling, because you don't want them to get hurt. So if you're going to sit there and bully somebody, think about that. If that was you, if you were getting these nasty hate comments sent to you, if you were getting these pictures and tagged in them they're just saying these nasty, violent comments to you, how would that make you feel? And how would you feel if your friend was being talked to like that, or your parents? You can't just sit there and watch that happen to anybody else, but you can sit there and do it to somebody else, and that makes no sense. You can't sit there and judge somebody based on who they are. You can have your opinion. I'm not saying don't have your opinion. I'm saying it's not right to threaten them just because they're different and just because they make choices that you don't approve of. It doesn't matter. You don't have the right to judge them because nobody has the right to judge anybody in this world. You can't sit there and call a girl, excuse my language again, you can't sit there and call her a whore just because she made one mistake. You can't sit there and call her a skank or a slut or all these other nasty, rude comments just because she got pregnant and she wasn't smart enough to really prevent that. And I'm not dissing on anybody who's gone through this experience. I'm saying that you just can't be rude to somebody just for the mistakes or the options that they've made. For the poor kid who sits in class and plays video games all the time, maybe you should go up to him and talk to him and become friends with him, because maybe he doesn't even have a lot of friends because people think he's so weird because he plays video games. Instead of judging people, instead of calling them names, try to understand that person, try to understand where they're coming from, and try to put yourself in their shoes. Literally put yourself in their shoes. Don't sit there and pretend to be their friend just so you can know what's going on in their head, so you can go and tell all your friends and tell them how nasty of a person this is or how weird they are. Put yourself in their shoes and think about it. From my experience, I've been hurt really badly, and nobody knows that. Hardly anybody knows that. But if you could just sit there and listen to what this person has to say, listen to if they've been abused by their parents, if they've been adopted because their parents tried to kill them when they were little, if their brothers and sisters were all killed, try to put yourself through in their shoes and try to experience what they're experiencing. And I doubt you could do that. I doubt you could sit there every day of your life and know that some of your family's gone, or you don't have any family, or you don't have any friends. I doubt you could sit there and act like everything's okay like they do and put a smile on your face and get bullied day after day. I don't think you could do that. And if you can, well then good for you, but you still should not be sitting there hiding behind your little computer screen on Facebook or Twitter or MySpace or whatever. I don't think you could, just don't sit there and complain about how bad your life is and then go and bully somebody else when they're going through another tough battle. My teacher, Mr. T, he has a quote on his door that says, "Be nice to everybody you meet because everybody is facing a hard battle." And they really are. It could be money issues, or it could be abuse issues at home. It could be they're just going through a hard time, they can't get accepted into college, they can't get through school. Don't sit there and make it worse for them. Sit there and try to help them. Sit there and try to understand them. It doesn't matter if you can do anything about it or not. Sometimes a person only needs somebody to listen to. And adults aren't always there to help them through that. They can be. And there's always counseling and everything for that, but there's not always somebody that can sit there and just listen to them. So sometimes you have to be that person. You have to be that friend that can sit there and listen to that person talk and talk and talk for hours about their life. And you are a million times better, in my opinion, better of a person if you can sit there and not judge them, or if you can sit there and hold them while they cry on your shoulders. Because it takes a lot to sit there and not judge somebody. I'm not saying I don't judge anybody. I try not to, my best I can, but it is hard. And if you don't judge somebody for what they've been through, then high five to you. I'll give you a computer high five. You can just high five your screen. But I think I've talked enough. So I will be posting this for everybody to see. I talked a lot. 29 minutes. Okay. If you listen to my babbling, thank you. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if there's anything else you would like to say, go ahead and tell me. I will listen. unlike most people. Alright, well, thank you for watching. I hope you liked it.